My wife told me she wanted a divorce. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just sat there in silence. And for the first time in years, I actually thought clearly. I had spent the last decade destroying myself, trying to protect my family, the business, the income, the lifestyle, all of it, for them. And somewhere along the way, I had become the biggest threat to everything I was trying to protect. This is that story. And if you're a man carrying weight right now, weight you haven't told anyone about, I think you need to hear it. I want to be honest with you from the start. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a coach. I don't have a program to sell you. I'm someone who built something, watched it fall apart, and had to figure out, in real time, who I actually was without it. For most of my adult life, I had a clear identity: successful entrepreneur, athletic, provider, the guy who handles things. I competed at a national level in track and field when I was young. I built a business that did well for years. I had a family I loved, and a life that looked, from the outside, exactly like it was supposed to. Then it started unraveling. Not dramatically, not all at once. Slowly, quietly, the way things actually fall apart in real life. The business started struggling, then struggling more. The word bankruptcy started appearing in my thoughts, first occasionally, then constantly. It moved into my head and refused to leave. I told myself I was managing it. What I was actually doing was disappearing. I'd always drunk, since I was young. Social, normal, nothing unusual. Just part of life, like it is for most people. Then somewhere in my adult life, I noticed something. I was having a drink every day. Not a lot, never drunk, just enough to take the edge off. The edge never quite went away, so the drinks got a little longer, a little earlier. Meanwhile, I was checking my investments constantly, multiple times a day. My mood, my entire emotional state, was tied to numbers on a screen. Good day on the market. I was almost human. Bad day. Everyone around me paid for it. I didn't see it. I was there at the dinner table every night, present physically, completely absent in every way that actually mattered. For an entire year, I found out later, I had been unbearable to live with, always irritable, never able to enjoy anything. Family moments felt like interruptions to my anxiety. I had been an athlete my whole life, always in shape. It was core to how I saw myself. I stopped recognizing myself in the mirror. I had stopped looking. My wife sat me down one evening. She said she was considering divorce. I remember the exact quality of the silence after those words. Everything I thought I had been holding together, I suddenly saw it from the outside. What it actually looked like, what I had actually become, the cruel thing, the thing that still hits me when I think about it. I had done all of it for them, every sacrifice, every obsession, every sleepless night running numbers in my head, for my family. I had assumed they needed a certain standard of living, the lifestyle we had built. I never asked, I just assumed. And then I burned myself down, trying to deliver something they never asked for. I had been solving the wrong problem for years, and the right problem, my presence, my clarity, my ability to actually show up, I had let that go completely. I sat in silence for a long time. And then something shifted. I stopped drinking that night. Not gradually, not with a plan, just stopped. If you had told me a week earlier that I would do that so cleanly, I would have laughed. I had convinced myself I needed it, that it was helping me cope. It wasn't helping me cope. It was helping me avoid. There's a difference, and that difference cost me years. I also made another decision that night, one that was harder in a different way. I stopped feeling sorry for myself. Victimhood is seductive. When everything is falling apart, the easiest story you can tell is that you're being punished, that you don't deserve this, that the universe is against you. I decided I didn't care anymore. Not about the bankruptcy, not about what people in my community thought, not about the identity I had spent years constructing. None of it was real. What was real? The woman sitting across from me, who had watched me disappear for a year and still hadn't left. What was real? The fact that I still had a choice. I started looking for new opportunities. I started showing up differently at home, not with grand gestures, just with presence, with actual conversation, with honesty about things I had never admitted out loud. My wife already knew about the drinking. She had known for a long time. Of course she had. I have a new business. It earns less than the old one. I work fewer hours. I'm home more. That was a deliberate choice, not a consolation prize. My marriage is better now than it was before any of this happened, not because the crisis fixed things, because the crisis forced conversations we never would have had otherwise. It stripped away everything we were performing and left only what was real. I am not going to tell you, this is a redemption story with a clean ending. I am going to tell you that I finally understand what I was actually building toward, and it was never the money. If you're a man watching this right now, and you're carrying something heavy, and you're telling yourself you're doing it for the people you love, I want you to ask yourself one honest question. When did you last actually show up for them? Not provide, not sacrifice, not worry about them from a distance. Actually show up. Present. Clear. There. That's the work. Not the business, not the portfolio, not the image. The work is showing up. If this found you at the right time, subscribe. Next video. The 3 decisions I made in that silence that changed everything. No theory, no philosophy, just what actually worked. I'll see you there.